Welcome to the dealership. Is anybody first time here? All you guys first time here? That's good. Welcome. Welcome to our little home away from home, I guess you could put. A lot of us spend a lot of time here. We're going to go over some boom audio stuff, stage 1, stage 2. How many people in here have 14 to 16 baggers? How about 13 and later? Dynas, Softails, Sportsters? Okay, so we got a couple. Our boom audio, we have a little bit of everything for everybody. And we'll get into that, like the Dynas and the Sportsters, Softails models. There's the pod setup, and there's a windshield setup for them. Obviously, we have the bagger here. I'm going to go over that. We'll go into that a little bit and tell you a little bit about how that works. And let's get into it. You hit my... I'm cheating. I'm using my sheets. We're going to discuss the innovations and technologies available in boom audio to the product line. Like I said, most people in here are baggers. The bagger setup, I mean, obviously, the way the baggers work, for those of you, everybody pretty familiar with it, or yes, no, maybe? This is a hard crowd. You'll have your fairing speakers here. You have lower speakers in this bike here, saddlebag speakers, and tour pack speakers. That's pretty much for the bagger, the way it's set up. Everything's run off the head unit and whatnot. The Rushmore project for 14 through and over and up changed a lot with the boom audio setup. That's what this is for the newer stuff, and we'll get into that in a little bit. Go ahead. Boom audio is a collection of integrated audio components designed to combine the maximum number of features with an easy-to-use interface. And because of your bike's original equipment, your OEM radio is designed for plug-and-play integration of boom audio equipment. You can easily create a custom sound and experience. So Harley products, so a lot of aftermarket stuff, the way it's set up, stuff needs to be spliced and cut and soldered and whatnot, enable for it to work. It's not really meant for plug and play, which our products are, which basically for our techs basically to install a lot of stuff, it just connects right up, makes it a lot easier on the techs and whatnot for mounting and whatnot. They meet the Harley strict standards and quality. Harley tests in depth all of our products, and they're very harsh and beating on them basically. It's tested for waterproof, UV resistance, vibration tested. The speakers are designed with it's called a neodymium magnet, which a lot of the people would think over the years that the thought was the heavier the speaker, the better the speaker is. Well, the way technology has changed, the neodymium magnets and whatnot, they're a lot lighter weight. A lot of us try to keep our bikes lighter weight. We hate to add a lot of weight onto it. I mean, especially if you're worried about having to pick it up and everything else. I mean, some of us are bigger than others, obviously, but most of us want to try to keep it lightweight in general. You can go ahead. While there are several products in the kits include boom audio product line, primary components consist of amplifiers, speakers, and antennas. You have the antennas on the tour pack, and this model here. You'll have an antenna here. There's usually an antenna here also for CB if it has it. We have the internal antennas. A lot of the other bikes will have it off the back of the bike here. Obviously, your Dyna, your Softail, your Sportsters aren't going to have that. But a lot of them, what we suggest when we do the boom audio systems is to go into the internal antenna. The problems we have found as a parts guy and as technicians and service guys with the internal antennas is if you're going to do it yourself, make sure you strap them down tight, because with the vibration of the bikes, which we all love, sometimes that gets loose. People have problems with their reception and whatnot, and that's usually, I'd say 90% of the time where that problem comes in. That antenna isn't fastened down good, and it causes some issues for us in the long run. So I'll just throw that at you now. The products vary per motorcycle. We're going to go through a lot of that. We have P&A books in the back, right next to Greg back there, the goofy guy in the white hat. And there's P&A catalogs back there. Some of my business cards are back there if you have any questions later. Now, boom audio overview, the way we look at it is, boom audio stage 1 we consider good. Better, you go to 300 watt boom amplifier, increases it, and the best is the boom audio stage 2 kit, which is for 14 and up. And like I'll give you a demo later with this, and I'm sure I haven't actually heard this down here. I don't know how many of you have heard this in the boom audio room. Okay, so to hear this down here is going to be a big difference because these are made for sound, so it's going to be kind of interesting. How many of you guys have boom audio installed on your bike now? Okay, so there are a few of you.
Got a question for you.
Sure.
How does stage 1 differ from a normal 14 bagger? Or is it stage 1 and a 14 bagger the same thing?
Stage 1, no, you still could go up to a stage 1.
Okay.
The 14 baggers, it's just basically stock, and then it goes. You would still do a stage 1 upgrade, so it would upgrade it a little bit with the type of speaker and whatnot and the amp. Yeah. It is a step up. Like I said, good boom audio stage 1 full range speak. This will kind of get into it and help answer it too. Boom audio stage 1 full range speaker kit will greatly enhance low, mid, and high frequency reproductions to provide smooth, musical balance and clarity. Better, you're adding a 300 watt boom amp, audio amplifier to a boom stage 1 speaker system permits a higher listening volume, lower distortion, improved clarity at higher speeds. And then if you want to go up to 2, which is your best, double the power of the stage 1 two-way speaker system. Boom audio stage 2 provides the ultimate motorcycle audio experience with 3-way speakers, 150 watts per channel. And over the next few slides we'll get into it a little bit more in depth.
The best of the stage 2 is 600 watt overall. Is that what it is?
Well, for every 2 speakers is 1 amp. So that's the way it's run. So this, if you went that way, it would be, well, it's just going to be 300 T speaker is basically what it's going to be.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead. 1200 watts. But that, don't forget, it's just 300 to a speaker. You know what I mean? Because each set of speakers, 1 amp with the boom stage 2 system now.
Right. 150 a side or what? 300 a side? I believe it's 150 a side.
I believe, yeah, because it's 350 or 300 watt amp going to 2. Yeah.
Still a lot.
Oh yeah, yeah. You'll. I think you'll be a little
1200
impressed.
watts.
Yeah.
For that.
So now that we got you a little interested in this, let's go back to who rides 2006 to 13 with stock speakers. I got 2 years. Okay. So the amplifier will increase the volume, reduce clipping at match volumes, and fuller sound reproduction. 50% louder speaker output, increases from 20 watts per channel on a stock bike to 40 watts per 40 watts at the same volume setting. Strong mid-range speakers, extended bass response, high performance bagger speakers. They're 5 1/4 waterproof, 2-way speaker design with separate full range element, custom grill, mounted tweeters, electronic crossovers, injected model woofer cone, high strength neodymium magnet. Ultra boom bagger kit is the strong mid-range response, extended bass response, custom equalization. Compared to popular aftermarket systems, 57% lower distortion, 50% louder, 12% increase in frequency response range. Kit includes 4 speakers, amplifier, and bass ports. There is, like for the older baggers too, if you have the pod system in it, there is a kit, which we'll go over later too, that you can just cut the holes in the tour pack, and it basically turns it into somewhat of a sub. It's kind of hard to see it from that angle. But there's ports that come in from here. They cut holes in the back just so the air flows. All bass is really air movement. So a lot of people will get a speaker system done in their front in the fairing, and they'll be like, well, I'm not getting a lot of bass out of it. Well, with everything that's packed inside the fairings in them, there's really nowhere for the air to move. And that's what all bass is air movement. So when you go to a saddlebag or a speaker pod in the back, you have somewhere for the air to move, or to lower, same way. There's a chamber for it to move the air. You're going to fill. You'll hear it, like I said, when I do the demonstration later, how it fills the room when you come off the amp or the fairing speakers into the other speakers. Speaker expansion kit. Where is that? Speaker expansion kit, saddlebag mounted amplifier, speaker fade capabilities between fairing and non-fairing mounted speakers, flexibility to customize audio configuration, system configuration, allows third and fourth set of speakers to be installed. Fairing lower speaker kit, 30% wider frequency range, 46% louder system output, less than 0.5 distortion, improved clarity at highway speeds. Saddlebag speaker kit, clean minimalistic look, directionally optimized tweeter, neodymium magnet, vibration test it. And when you guys come down later and look at the way the amps are mounted in the saddlebags, most people, you open up the bags, you have them look at it, they barely even notice it. It hardly takes up any room, you know. The tour packs on the newer ones especially are mounted underneath your fairing speakers. The amps are mounted inside the fairings. When I went over, I was talking to you about the bass ports, how in the tour pack, what they do is they cut the port in so you'll have that air movement with it. 21% more bass response, 82% reduction in peak distortion, sound sealing technology. Like I said, bass is a lot of air movement, and when you're trying to bottle that up in a small area, you get that distortion. When you open it up to the air and have it in like a some type of chamber that you can have that movement, it's going to cut down on your distortion. It's going to sound a lot better. Now the cruiser amp speaker kits, they're the ones I was talking for, like the Dynas, Softails. You put them on a Road King, Sportsters, 2 3.5 inch full range speakers, mount to 1 inch or 1.5 inch handlebars with clamps, 2-channel 40 watt stereo amp, 2-channel 40 watt stereo amplifier, 3.5 millimeter stereo auxiliary input jack, backlit handle for volume control and power, black and chrome enclosure that mounts to inside a windshield and rests below the cross brace. So that's the one that mounts inside. And they have the pods also. You can mount them on a speaker or on the engine guards. You can mount them on the handlebars also. It's all personal preference. Any questions at this point? Okay, go ahead. Now this gets into the Rushmore project. So it's going to be more based around that 2014 and up model years. 2014, it launched the Project Rushmore touring lineup. Project Rushmore isn't about technology for sake of technology. It's about ideas, features, and function that made your ride better. What they did is they got a bunch of riders and Harley talked to them and said, "What do you guys want?" And that's what they came up with, the pull of it, and that's why they made a lot of the changes to the touring bikes and whatnot, to the motorcycles, because Harley wanted to know what we wanted for our bikes, the people that rode the bikes on a regular basis. And I think the improvements basically show themselves with what they've done from 2014 and the innovations they've come up with. Things like, for as far as we're talking today, hand-free operation of your music and phone, bright and easy to read screens, intuitive operation of your controls, and then the two different stereo headsets, the 4.3 and the 6.5, depending on which models you have or what you install. And that's it for that. Now we're going to go into the stage 1 kits. You're asking yourself, why would I upgrade my own sound if I own a Project Rushmore motorcycle? While the stock features are good, we have even more ways to enhance your sound. Speakers are good, but luckily they have made them just good enough so that P&A had room to make them even better. Boom Stage 1 speakers are designed to give a higher audio quality and greater increased output levels. So who has had Boom Audio stuff done to their bike? What's your impression of
Day and night.
Yeah? Impressed with it, right? You're happy with it?
You bet.
Yeah. I think I don't think I've had anybody come in as a customer of mine and say, "Hey, I put this in, I don't like it." I mean, certain things may have to be tweaked, may have to get flashed, if the flash didn't take correctly or whatnot. I've had customers come in with aftermarket products and say, hey, I'm not happy with this. I want to do this. I had one customer, he had a set of aftermarkets in the front fairing, and he wasn't really pleased with it, and we ended up doing the speaker bags with our system. We put the boom stage 2 in the saddle bags, and he came back next week and he said, you know what? Take this stuff out of the fairing, put your stuff in, I'm done. So I mean, what we've done over the years, I think, is a big difference. I know when I started selling parts for Harley, the boom stage 1 was out, and we did good. I think we kept up with our competitors and whatnot, but I think it really kicked it in the butt when we came out with the stage 2, and it really kicked us over the top, because a lot of people, even our competitors, when we were at Bike Week and whatnot, one of them came over and said, hey, check our stuff out. And we went over and they said, well, come check our new stuff out. And they were like, wow, we can't even really compete with that. So I think a lot of it speaks for itself in that. The high performance speakers, full range, two-way speakers, 6.5 inch in diameter, larger than the 5.25 speakers. They feature a polyurethane cone for improved low and mid frequencies. Bridge mounted, dampened soft dome, 1 inch tweeter, improved high frequency production, powerful neodymium magnet. A lot smaller than what was normally in there. And is there any stereo heads in here that are big in the audio or whatnot? Okay. Well, I mean, the polypropylene cone was a big change in speaker systems in general over the years, and made a big difference. Saddlebag speaker kit, two speakers, waterproof speakers, high strength woofer cones, directionally optimized suspended 1 inch tweeters, improved rider acoustics, uses volume of saddlebag for great bass output, which I got into the air movement and whatnot. You'll see the big difference when you have a chamber. UV resistant, vibration tested. Color match saddlebag lids. If you have a Harley, depending on what color it is, what year, sometimes we get a hold of the factory, we order them, we could check through HDNet, they'll have them in stock, we get them within a few days. Other times they're like 15 days out, sometimes they'll say 30 days out before the lids come in. In that certain scenario that you have a CVO, any CVO owners in here? Okay. Certain scenarios with the CVOs, depending on the color, some of the older colors you can't get. Thank God we have Spooky Fast down the street. We order them in raw, we send it down to Spooky, call up Dwayne, hey, I need this color matched. Matt's like a color wizard, or not Matt, Matt, color wizard down there. He can match just about anything. The guy's pretty phenomenal. We'll send it down there, he gets the color match up. We haven't had any problems with that either. He's a very, very talented individual down there. We're glad we have him at our disposal. Bearing lower speakers provides two additional sound sources when added to two current speaker system. Direct sound towards you, which a lot of guys will say, well, I don't want to put speakers behind me and the saddlebags. If you have a touring bike, it's always the option. You go with the lowers, and basically they're directed right at you, and that sound comes directly at you. A lot of guys will say
6.5 inch in the lowers.
Yeah. And the tour pack actually is more directed at you too. The downfall, to an extent, getting into the stage 2. Once you do stage 2 in the tour pack, you can't take that off. The mount, or the amp is mounted underneath. There's no way to disconnect that. They haven't done that yet. I'm sure at some point Harley will. I would not doubt. But a lot of guys will go with the saddlebag speakers instead, because then you can still, if you have a detachable storage pack, take that tour pack off. That is one catch with those. Amplifiers, 300 watts of RMS power. The true output of the amplifier, as opposed to many that adverse peak power. Custom EQS to optimize sound output in each sister configuration. Increases volume and improves bass response. Speaker expansion kits allow additional of third, fourth set of speakers, available for fairing and saddlebag mounting, easy to install. Additional products, you can put the Sirius on it, and there's music and communication kits also you can add to it. Okay, we're gonna go into stage 2 now. Any questions? Anybody bored?
Yeah, well, I expect that.
14 and later touring models, 3-way speaker design, high excursion woofers, bi-amplification, all new equalizer parameters. Now many of you are here today to learn about the stage 2 systems. That's right. We have saved them best for last. Who wants more bass? Pretty much everybody. More total sound, the more clarity. I think that's what it's all about. Everybody wants more bang for their buck. And if you're going to spend money to put into something, you want to have it to get the best out of your money. Take your sound to the next level. These speakers and boom audio stage 2 kits have been developed specifically for Harley-Davidson motorcycles to take advantage of our speaker enclosures and positions. What's new with the stage 2 system? This system takes low, mid, upper frequencies and sends them to 3 separate drivers on each speaker, so each speaker is louder and clearer than previous boom audio. 2-way speaker system, and you can see it here in the thing. If your tweeter up here, your mid-range is here. It's set up a lot different than what the old ones were. 3-way speaker system, woofer, mid-range tweeter, provides the ability to send 3 driver frequencies that can best produce clearest, loudest sound possible. And I think that the thing that impresses me the most about it is, if you go to midway with this, the clarity, even if you take it up, the clarity in that speaker, if you're a music guy, I mean, I messed around when I was a kid. I wouldn't consider myself a musician, but I've dabbled a little bit. And the clarity, when you bring it in and you bring in a song that comes in slow and brings into your mid-range and you hear your tweeters hitting and then your bass, it's the clarity of it really impressed me. When a lot of stuff you have, it's going to break up and everything else, the clarity is very, very good in it. Speakers are bi-amplified to distribute 75 watts to the woofer and 75 watts to the mid-range, mid-tweeter combo. See, I was off there, so it's 150. Total of 150 per speaker, that's right. This doubles the amount of power driving the speakers compared to today's stage 1 kits. The all-new equalizer take advantage of the added speaker and power. High excursion woofers, also known as long throw or long excursions, allow more speakers to move back and forth without bottoming out. This creates more sound and a deeper bass response, which is, like I said, the air movement. That movement is what causes the air to move. Okay. Audio stage 2 speakers, composite speaker frames, powerful magnets, protected perforated grills. Options include fairing, tour pack, fairing lower, and saddlebag. And let's play a little bit. What you're hearing right now and have been hearing is the fairing speaker, and I had the saddlebag speakers on with it. Let me see. Now that's just the fairing, okay? I'm just gonna flip on the saddlebag speakers so you can see the way it fills and you get your bass. Hear the difference? And it's the same if I cut out the saddlebag, I go to the lowers. Well, it's more filling because you have somewhere to throw that bass. I'm going to cut that and I'm throwing the tour pack. You see the way it fills up. This, you can hear you get more out of it because you have more of a chamber. And that's also corded, so there's more room for that air to flow. So that gives you a little bit. We'll play around with that a little bit more in a minute or two. You have the fairing speakers, tour pack speakers, lowers and saddlebag. The fairing speakers 6.5 long throw, extended bass performance, bridge mounted mid-frequency driver, separate tweeter for high frequencies. Like I showed you in the picture, and you can see the breakdown here. The tweeters sit off the side of the speaker, off the top of the side of the speakers. Powered by 2 channels from 300 watt amplifier. One powers the woofer, one powers the mid and the tweeter combination. This doubles the power to each speaker compared to stage 1, and is 6 times the power compared to stock speakers. So that's a big upgrade right there. Saddlebag speakers, 5x7s. They're lid speakers, directionally optimize the fill rider cockpit with sound, provides additional depth and dimension. Most saddlebag serves as an enclosure to pump the bass. Now, I mean, don't forget now too, if you're planning on packing these, your sound's going to change with how much that saddlebag's packed. If that's packed to the top, it's going to cut down on your bass a little bit because you don't have much of a chamber. Same as your tour pack. If you have these speakers, the pods, and you pack that up, that's going to change your sound a little bit. So be aware of that. I don't know how. It's kind of hard for you guys to see it. When you come down later, you'll be able to see the amp and everything set up in there. The lower speaker, 6.5, nestles in the glove box of vented lowers, angled towards the rider to provide wall of sound. Tight fitted molded tray with fairing lowers forms a sound optimized ported speaker for enclosed bass. Now don't forget, if they're liquid cooled, if you have a liquid cooled system, you cannot put speakers in those lowers, they don't fit. So that opts you out of that right there. Audio stage 2 speaker kits require separate purchase of a Boom Audio accessory amplifier, and some required separately purchased installation kits. It depends on what part of the bike you're putting it on. The kits need to be installed with it. And then also when you go 6 speakers or up, you have to upgrade the charging system, which it'll get into in a minute. That's good. And then the 300 watt amplifier bypasses the internal radio amplifier to provide the purest audio output possible. It's pretty much cut and dry. There's not too much I could really go into with that. Audio clip combines the wiring harness and the amplifier mount kit for appropriate stage 2 speaker installation to power a single pair of tour pack speaker lids, lower fairing, or tri-body stage kit speakers. Yep. And then that is the upgraded charging system, the whole kit. Increases performance, reduces repeated discharge of cycle battery, 30% increase in output. Pretty much you put that much, especially if you're adding LEDs or anything else to it, heated grips, anything like that, it's going to put a drain on you, and you want to upgrade that charging system. You're going to be draining batteries left and right. For 6 to 8 speaker systems, high output charging system required. By adding the system, it reduces repeated discharge cycling of the battery in high load conditions. It's recommended for vehicles with multiple electrical accessories such as heated grips, Boom Audio amplifiers. At idle, a 30% increase in output is delivered on bikes with charging systems installed. So it makes a pretty big difference with it. And then our techs are basically trained and schooled, and our techs here, I think we're pretty proud here that if you're a sports guy, coming to our service department is like going to the Pro Bowl. I mean, we have some of the best of the best out there. We have 16 techs now, Randy. How many? 10 plus master? Or?
We've got 8 masters and 4 pending.
Yeah, 8 masters, 4 pendings. I mean, it's literally going to the Pro Bowl. I mean, if there's something back here we can't fix, I'd be very surprised. I mean, a lot of times these guys call technical support from Harley and they ask us questions. So it's like it's almost like the dream team. We have a lot of really good techs back here. We have Randy leading the pack. Randy's been in the business for years, very knowledgeable. So I mean, I think you're in pretty good hands with your motorcycle here at Harley Scottsdale. And that's about it. Anybody have any questions or anything?
I just want to add
So when you install this, Chris had mentioned that they have to flash the system. Basically, what they do is they hook it up to a computer and they tell the stereo system what components have been added. And just like anything else, if you don't do the correct settings, you don't get the proper sound. So if you read the forums, like a lot of people do, and there's about 8,000 different opinions on there. When people knock this boom audio system, it's probably because it was not set up properly. When the technicians set it up, guys who set them up properly get the optimal sound out of them. Just like when they dyno tune your motorcycle, they get the optimum rideability. A good technician is going to optimize whatever is put into this bike. Not everybody can do that. So we've actually had customers bring us motorcycles where they've had things installed elsewhere and said, this thing sounds terrible. Our techs go in, hook it up to the computer system, and change the settings without actually touching any of the motorcycle itself, and completely change the way that the sound system now sounds. So proper installation and proper setup is one of the most important parts of getting the maximum out of these systems.
We have a drawing for the $500 gift card, and there was actually a mistake that you guys get to capitalize on, because usually we have a $500 gift card when you do a series of our workshops, and this time there was a misunderstanding. So today, in one workshop, there's a $500 winner. So Merry Christmas to Rodney. Not sure what the last name is. Lon.
Lomi Bell.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's me.
Congratulations. Woo! Thank you.
very much.
You're
Appreciate it.
welcome. Thank you.